All right, fellas, here we go.
All right. Leave that door open.
You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. Every Saturday morning coming through your speaker. Welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. We getting it in every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Broadcasting live from the Rock Palm Broker Studios. Real Deal Sports Show with the Rad Man, J-GILLZ and the crew. We getting it in, and we're going to start off real quick. What's going on with the New York Knicks? I thought the Buffalo Bills, y'all need to take a look at this. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, you putting up with Shawn McDermott, hasn't won all these 5 division championships. When you win 5 division championships, that should result in at least 1 Super Bowl appearance. The Bills have no Super Bowl appearances. The Knicks, they haven't had a finals appearance since 1973. Thibs, the coach gets them not to the promised land. They lose in the conference finals. They haven't been in the conference finals in over 20, almost 30 years. And you turn around and fire the guy. It tells me you were looking for an excuse to fire this guy. That's what it tells me. It tells the Rad Man. He puts the Knicks on a historic run. All the celebrities and everybody come back to the Garden. Everybody's there. Everybody want to be seen. Everybody want to see what the Knicks are going to do. We got the pudgy man dribbling the ball like he had the wide. Remember Mike Carolina style. The man playing that Mike Carolina. Maybe they saw what I saw. Maybe they didn't like that YMCA style of basketball that the New York Knicks were playing. But, hey, it was effective. They were winning it. They only played 7 guys. Maybe they also saw that their players were getting run into the ground. They were running out of gas at the end of games, and they couldn't finish against teams like the Indiana Pacers. They're red hot. Tyrese Halliburton hit another game winner the other night against Oklahoma City to start that series off in Pacer style. But, hey, the Knicks have no shot. They played a great series. I thought they played very well. But for them to fire the coach the way they did tells me that they were just looking for an excuse to say, hey, man, we want to get rid of this guy real bad. And they couldn't contain themselves. They couldn't contain the good fortunes of the Knicks and said, hey, this guy has to go. Maybe some of the players may have commented that they were playing too many long minutes or the practices still. The guy is known as a taskmaster in the practice. And remember what Mike Tomlin always said. I always bring up Mike Tomlin. If a guy goes from team to team to team like Thibs has done, he was in Chicago. Everywhere he goes, he seemed to be somewhat successful with that team. But he always gets fired from that team, it seems, when that team is in the middle of being somewhat successful, in this case, very successful. The Bulls and some of the other stops he's made, he seems to wear out his welcome. That tells you it's more to do with what Coach Thibs does behind the scene instead of on the court of basketball. It's obviously some things that the ownership and front general manager and the whole crew didn't like of what they saw possibly off the court, because on the court, the man was working magic, had his team winning, had his team in the conference final, had the Ewing and the whole crew from the last time they made it. You know, those guys looking a little older, man. All those cats, man, came back and to see what the Knicks were going to do. So he's another case of, I think it's more to do with what goes on behind the scene than what's on the scene. J-GILLZ, what do you think on this point? Were you surprised by the firing?
Man, was I surprised by the firing, man? I couldn't believe it, right, man? And that passport back. I'm telling y'all right now, first of all, you got Coach Tom Thibodeau going with back-to-back 50-win games, 50-win seasons for him. You know what I mean? He done won with Julius Randle and crew. He turns around, he trades DiVincenzo. You know, he adds Mikal Bridges, adds Karl Anthony Towns, and still finds himself successful with his team, took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals You know what I mean? Beat the Boston Celtics, the reigning champions, and then he finds himself without a job. And to me, I mean, we've seen this all throughout the league. These successful coaches, you know, we saw last year in football. You know, we saw the coaches keeping jobs, needing to be fired. Now we're seeing successful coaches in the NBA losing jobs left and right, whether it's the JB Bickerstaff, Mike Malone over in Denver. You know what I'm saying? After a successful season, and now it's Tom Thibodeau is the latest example of a successful NBA franchise, and then he's going to go turn around and get the job fired. To me, I don't understand where the Knicks go from here. I don't understand exactly who they're looking for. The Knicks were a mediocre franchise for many years. We already know this. The last 5 years, Tom Thibodeau goes to New York. He actually makes it a stable franchise. He brings an identity and a culture to that team, a tough, gritty team. They get the personnel. You know, they get all those Villanova boys. Jalen Brunson takes a pay cut. You know, he gets all those guys over there, Bridges and Hart and all them. And then, you know, they beat Boston. You go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You go up against a hot Indiana Pacers team. Some could say that they could have easily won that series. That was a tough game one loss, down 15. But as we've seen, the Pacers is just doing, they're having a great season right now. That's not on Thibodeau. You know, to completely just take the momentum from the Knicks and all that they've built, to me, it's extremely ridiculous. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know how they think they're going to be as successful. I just don't see it, right, man, in that pass. I don't see it. What coaches are they going to add to the table? I'm hearing they trying to steal coaches, like a good coach, like my man's Chris Finch, who I had a epic run a couple years ago before, you know, he actually turned things around in Minnesota. I was calling for Chris Finch's head, but I got to say, he is a heck of a coach. We got to give him credit. So I don't know where they go from here, but they have to have a plan because it's not too many good coaches in the NBA right now that you just find it, and you know what I mean? So I have to see what they're going to do, but I was highly disappointed. If I'm a Knicks fan, I'm like, yo, what are we doing, in my opinion?
Yeah, Jason Kidd, his name, Jason Kidd, as I know, he's coaching the Mavericks. Why are you talking about people under contract? It's very interesting what's going on in New York right now. Man, the Knicks circling the wagon. There's something going on. Like I said, I think it's more to do with off the court than on the court. Internet Passport, your comments.
Come on. When that news dropped, we all should have known.
Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway.
It's the Knicks. It's the New York Knickerbockers. Something ain't right there. Just to go over this, a quick little stat for y'all when it comes to the Knicks playoff series wins. So in the previous 20 years, well, let me be more exact, from 2001 to 2020, can y'all tell me the number of playoff wins that the Knicks had between that span? If you're watching online, I may have already given away the answers, but do you gentlemen know?
Very few.
I'm gonna say
you're right. You're right. They only had one. They only had one during a 20-year span. Something ain't right with the organization and the GM. But under Thibodeau, it was a little bit different. From 2021 to 2025, they have had 4 playoff wins. Come on, man. Come on. And obviously, he's known, what we say, at least in my opinion, the number one thing Thibs needs to do is maybe use his bench a little bit more, maybe monitor some of those minutes. These guys are definitely going to have some elite conditioning compared to somebody like Carlisle with the Pacers. But for him to be able to go ahead and get fired like this is such a disgrace, such a disservice to someone that brought so much to that team. And the one thing I'm always going to say, hey, we could have got a little bit more from good old Karl Anthony Towns. But hey, they made it this far here.
Oh, yeah.
I know J-GILLZ may end up being a little different. Maybe J-GILLZ was a little just a little triggered, man, but it's okay.
Hey,
it's
come
okay.
on, that's a great player.
I just know when it comes he's a very good player. He's a very good player. I was definitely end up saying that when it comes when it comes to that player, Karl Anthony Towns. And a lot of things happen where Radman ends up having his rants there to start off the show. And this Radman rant was sponsored by the Rock Palm Broker Studios, man. They come in there. They sponsors our show each and every week. We appreciate what they do. Look them up online. Stop to them while you're there in the greater Rochester area. Go ahead. Father's Day is coming up. It could end up being a very good gift for you there and for the family. However,
right. Deal or no deal still going on.
Yes, sir. And we moving on to some NBA playoff basketball. We end up having that game 1. Whoo! The first half, a little bit of a different story. The second half, though, what an ending. And that's something that I like. I don't care if it's some smaller market teams, J-GILLZ. I still was entertained. But however, I want to start off with you there, J-GILLZ, and move the Radman. What is your reactions, your thoughts after this thrilling game 1 between the Pacers and the Thunder?
Well, thank you, IP. Thank you. Well, let's talk about it. Right now, that game 1 to me, you're right. It was a great thrill. I thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 minutes. The first 46 was hot garbage, in my opinion. What you had about 24 turnovers from the Indiana Pacers, and you had sloppy basketball from OKC. Shea Gilly was doing his thing, but the rest of the crew, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, they didn't give you much. It got real exciting in those last 2 minutes. And let's face it, without that last 2 minutes, if what we saw in those first 46 minutes with OKC beating down the Indiana Pacers, I don't think nobody would have been tuning in as bad as trying to catch these games. But ultimately, to me, what it came down to was experience. Obviously, we've seen the Indiana Pacers throughout this whole playoff season so far just be able to fight back. They've been a resilient bunch, whether it's against the Cavs, whether against the Knicks. Obviously, Orlando in the first round, and now we've seen it in game 1 of the NBA Finals. But to me, OKC, they have, to me, they're the better team. When I look at them play, they look completely dominant over them. It just looked like a lack of experience from their head coach, a lack of experience from those players. I believe OKC is the youngest team in the NBA. Nobody's ever touched the finals before, and we've talked about it a couple of weeks ago on the Real Deal Sports Show each and every Saturday morning. When you talk about the Indiana Pacers, they have that experience with their head coach, Rick Carlisle, winning it back in Dallas in 2011. They have players like a Thomas Bryant, like a Pascal Siakam, guys who have won, who've played the final season, who've had to endure, a full season of playoff basketball. That conditioning that's needed. So when I look at that experience, to me, that's what highlighted that game. Great coaching by Rick Carlisle, excellent fundamentals in the last fourth quarter. Not being able to turn the ball over like they were doing so many times, and not to mention OKC wasn't as taking advantage of those turnovers as they needed to. Otherwise, the game would have been even more over. I mean, it was a 9-point game with 2 minutes to go. Indiana was able to come back ultimately. I think that's great. I think that that showed that Tyrese Halley, he got his nickname. He's the moment now. He did what he did again. Another clutch shot. You got to give him that credit. But ultimately, I still don't think that this series is going to be as stellar as some would say. I was proven wrong in game 1. It gave us a great 2-minute highlight. But I just think that OKC is going to learn from their mistakes a lot quicker. I saw them do it before. After a loss, they come back and they're very dominant. This OKC team has the most double-digit wins in the NBA season ever. When I saw them do in game 7 against the Denver Nuggets, that 30-point blowout against that clutch team, no. I'm sorry. I've seen enough. I think OKC, once they put their foot to the metal and use their wisdom, game-by-game decisions, I think this thing's going to be over in 5. That's just my opinion.
Wow. Excellent opinion there. In 5. Wow. He's still clutch on that. I think you're absolutely right. But people forget, like you mentioned, Siakam won a championship with the Toronto Raptors, and he was a very instrumental player in that Toronto Raptors win. Everybody think of Kawhi Leonard hitting the key shots. But yeah, in between doing the dirty work and making some maybe baskets that go unnoticed was Siakam. Siakam is a very good player. He has a championship under his belt, and I think he shows he's starting to help carry that team. help carry the Pacers and keep them focused on what they need to do. And they didn't give up. Being 15, it seemed like they used to being down 15, 20 points, and here they come back. It just seemed like that's part of their game plan is get behind, allow that team to sleep a little bit, and then make a run late in the game. And if they get a chance for a last shot, Haliburton has just been money, man. This guy's been cash money if given the opportunity. You just can't give him the opportunity. That's how you beat the Pacers. Don't let it come down to a final shot. I thought OKC kind of eased up. They got lulled into this type of play that the Pacers play late in the game. They missed shots. They took too many quick shots, too. I know it's the Knicks, too. Every team that the Pacers play seem to rush their shots when they're winning. And there's no need to. You're up by 15 double-digit points. Take your time, move the ball around. But some of these, especially OKC really rushed a lot of shots, and it came back to haunt them. And same thing with these teams seem to do that for some reason when they have big leads. They seem to take crazier shots and things of that nature. And the Pacers are showing you can't keep them in the game. If they're in the game, hey, they got a good chance to win it. Morris Thompson on the Beltway. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. I see you checking in with us this morning. Definitely checking the show out. Good morning to you as well. Like, comment, and subscribe to the show on Facebook, YouTube, especially on YouTube. And also check out our website, realdealsportshow.com, realdealsportshow.com. Leave a message on there. We got a lot of action on that website. Check out our sponsors, the whole 9 yards, on realdealsportshow.com.
And real quick to your point, right, man, with Pascal Siakam, you're absolutely right. We talk about Hallie all the time, but even in the midst of that comeback, when they was coming back from the OKC, Hallie missed a wide open three. Who was there to clean it up and get him right there with 1 point under? Pascal Siakam with that easy layup, and then ultimately Hallie did his thing and had the game winner. But you're absolutely right, and that's why Pascal won Eastern Conference Finals MVP over Hallie, which was a whole other thing and quite hilarious to me.
Exactly. Oh, man, it was quite hilarious. And speaking of hilarious, how about our guy, Stephon Diggs? Stephon Diggs, very, very interesting. And before we get into the Stephon Diggs situation here, let me just quickly get you backed by popular demand. Vino Noir wine tasting, Saturday, June 28th, 2025. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Rock Arts Event Space. That's the Rock Arts Event Space, 215 Tremont Street, Suite 310. The very best of Black-owned vineyards will be in town, gracing Rochester, New York with the very best wines that they have to offer. Come and check out that. Give a call for tickets, 585-313-4954. Our friend of the show and sponsor, Manuel Floyd, 585-313-4954. The backed by popular demand Venue Noir wine tasting. Check it out. Saturday, January 28th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., guys. Got to check it out. And speaking of Stephon Diggs, this quick note on Stephon Diggs. He's a good ball player. The guy shows up. He keeps his body in great shape. The man stays in shape. He does what he has to do to stay on the field. But you ever notice when these guys start hooking up with the hip-hop people or the celebrities overall, when they start hanging out with the celebrities, next thing you know, you see them on red carpets. Then you see them coming out of clubs at 2 in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning. They're hanging out, going back to the hotel for the party, taking the party back to the hotel. And you know, these guys always seem, it never fails. All of a sudden, here we go in the era that we live in. Somebody takes a video, the man on the boat having a good time. Seemed to be having a good time, minding his business. Plenty of women surrounding him. And then all of a sudden, look like out comes a package, an unidentified package there. And he tells everybody, hey, let's have a good time, blah, blah, blah. Internet passport. It seems to always happen to these cats. They start hanging out. Now he's been hanging out with Cardi B for the last year or so, it seems. He's been out hanging late. That can't help and he's been injured. He's coming off of the knee surgery. He's rehabbing. He's coming back. New England Patriots have him. He's with the Patriots. He always shows up for the games. But if you staying out late at night, man, I don't know about how that's got to take a little bit out of your performance on the football field. Internet passport. Look like you have a few comments.
Well, Rad man, I would say it's just a clear sign that's one thing. I think the bigger picture is that the Patriot way is no more. The old Bill Belichick way of the team comes first. The Patriot way is gone. Because this man, Stephon Diggs, like I said, he could go ahead, he could party. Guys, they're humans too. These athletes, they're regular. I know I'm not going to say they're regular people, but they are people just like us. Want to go out, have a good time. You know, with the both public figures, him and his a new girlfriend, Cardi B. Hey, it is what it is. But the video that came out a while ago was him on a boat and surrounded by some women there. I believe Cardi was there as well, and he just had something there that was that was in his hand that was a little interesting. A lot of people was wondering,
what is that?
Yeah, it's just they're trying to figure out what was going on there in his hand there because it definitely seemed a little.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Yes, we did end up finding that a little bit suspicious. And if this was the old way with Bill Belichick, it doesn't matter if you were a first round pick to an undrafted free agent, you'll be cut, gone, out of here. No one is above the team. But now with a new head coach, Mike Vrabel coming back, you're on a bad team. You invested a lot of money in the Diggs, even though once again he's coming off a torn ACL. It's not a killer of an injury as it was decades ago. So I'm sure he's going to end up being back. Still a productive player, and he's there going to help another young quarterback and hopefully to ascend, except when he's playing against Buffalo. But clearly, the organization, when it comes to New England, they were just.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
we don't care.
Yeah, they definitely did not care. They said, "Huh, all right, just be prepared. You may get a couple of little more random drug tests, but as long as you pass, you fine." You know, what I mean, they looked and saw it. We can't prove it. Who knows what that thing was? Who knows? He just said, but he's here. We talked to him. He's here for camp, and we're ready for him to be productive. So that's happening there with the good old Stephon Diggs, and just what other teams are starting to see more and more. Maybe what some of those whispers were why Buffalo ended up letting him go. Well, more trading him to be exact. So yeah, that's what's happening there with Diggs.
Yeah,
we got something a little bit different.
I mean, Radman, I hear what you're saying, but I might have to debunk that theory real quick. You know what I'm saying? I can't just say that all the hip hop ladies and R&B ladies are distracting our NFL brothers. Man, that's a single case study, and that's a single problem. That's a Stephon Diggs problem. Man, you got guys like Russell Wilson. Him and Sierra ain't never had no problems.
Okay, that's a good one.
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift ain't never had no problems. They out there winning Super Bowl. Come on, go Cash Doll and Zadarius Smith ain't never had no problems. Come on, man. But you talk about Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. Man, we talk about Stephon Diggs? Really? Come on, man. We know the rumors about Stephon Diggs. That's a Stephon Diggs problem. That's a wild boy. He needs to sit down.
Well, yeah, he's a wild boy, definitely. And he got to spend some time over there with the Houston Texans. And we also have one gentleman that may know a little bit of something about when it comes to good old Houston. We have, some of our best folks around here, Mr. Chris Gardner. Welcome.
How y'all doing, brothers? I'm not gonna touch Stephon Diggs in that situation.
it all started in your city. As a matter of fact, it started.
Yeah,
they met up in Houston, man.
I don't doubt that, Rad man, but I don't know very much about it. Rad man, you know somebody who might know a little bit about it is our brother A.D. Moore. I saw this, and I just shook my head, and I saw this Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. Man, I'm like, come on, man.
Oh boy, that just reminds us, just to simply there while we're. I think these players, no matter what I think they're allowed to have the fun, do what they got to do, but understand at the same time, good, bad, you are public figures, and mostly, especially when it comes to the brothers, man.
Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused. No.
Brothers have to stay focused out there, man. Please.
Amen. Amen, Reverend.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of opposites attract, We have Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. What's your take on this series here, and how who you think is going to come out the winner of this overall series?
I picked OKC in 7, but I hoped the Pacers would win because I'm an Eastern Conference ride or die person, because I'm a Pistons fan for 30 some odd years. So I'm always picking the Eastern Conference team, whether they're the better team or not. I'm going to pick the East, period. I thought that the Pacers had a great chance in the series because of their style of play, because they can also score off turnovers. And they have a head coach who's been to the NBA Finals and won before. So that experience helps. And they got talented players too. Let's not get it twisted that it's all Shea and J-Will for OKC and that's it. HALIBURTON has proved he's Mr. Clutch. He's a clutch dude. He got that clutch gene. So it's a fun series. I hope it goes the distance. But Sunday, game 2, going to tell a lot. OKC got to step up.
Absolutely. Why would a team like Sacramento that's been losing for years and years and years, why would you trade somebody like HALIBURTON? They drafted him, and they even said in the draft that this is a guy that you really should have on your team to start your team and rebuild your team. Why would they get rid of a talented player like this?
They put all their chips in for De'Aaron Fox, and they felt they needed a big man in Domantas Sabonis. So at the time, initially the trade worked for both teams. I mean, both teams benefited from it. And now, of course, De'Aaron Fox is in San Antonio with the Spurs and Wemby. And Hallie is king of Indiana, as Caitlin Clark is the queen of Indiana. So,
okay. It worked out for both teams, the deal. Yeah, because he was highly regarded. I kept hearing his name throughout that draft. And when he was drafted, they said, oh, this is a guy to build around. And
it worked out for both teams until it didn't, because Sacramento did what they did. Because remember, at that time, they had Sabonis. They had Mike Brown as the head coach, and they were taking the Warriors to 7 games. Some of the most, that was some exciting basketball back then. And then it just ultimately crumbled. Chris, I want to ask you, you picked OKC in 7. And we understand, the talent, the experience, but what about the defense? Nobody talks about the defense of the Pacers. It's been mainly the clutchness. They've been down. We've seen them be down, and kind of teams have shot themselves out of their big leads. It hasn't really been Indiana D'ing up, making stops, at least from what we've been seeing. On the other side, OKC, they've been very, very dominant on the defensive side of the basketball. How do you think that'll play, in these games moving forward? Because even game 1, 9 points to go, it was more like Shea was missing shots, wide open shots, not Hallie up and getting turnovers. You know what I mean? So how can the team defensively be able to still, in these bad leads that they've been getting, still be dominant and try and win those games, tight games?
Well, turnovers will be a factor. Game 1, the Pacers set pro basketball back, seemed like forever, with 18 turnovers in the first half.
My God.
But a good number of those turnovers were dead ball turnovers. So, it was a ball out of bounds, a travel, an offensive foul. So OKC did not have a chance to capitalize with the quickness off the mistake. At the end of the game, the Pacers had 25 turnovers, but OKC only scored 11 points off those turnovers. So that's a big factor, I think, will be in this series going forward, is how many points off turnovers either team gets. But the Pacers have made this run and gotten this far because the players have bought into the defensive side. Nesmith did a great job on Jalen Brunson. Ben Shepherd does a good job defensively. Pascal Siakam had a big block against Shea down the stretch. So different guys have embraced defense. And defense, the first part of being a good defensive player, then a good defensive team, is want to. You got to want it. You got to want to play defense. You got to want to make your life miserable for your man or your woman offensively. Make them work for it. Indiana initially, first part of the season, trying to outscore people. Just run and gun. Just outscore you. You get yours, I get mine. Our talent will outshine you eventually. But around January, February, Coach Carlisle, he's still playing 10, 11 guys. He's like, fellas, we got a chance to be special if we play defense and then amp up our defense. And that's what they started doing. And he's seeing the fruits of their labor. But OKC defense, it's different. It's aggressive. it's great help side, but part of it is not great one-on-one defense. When you see guys and the steals they get, it's from help. It's from guys reaching in defensively with that reach. So some games, Russ might call us reach ins. Radman, you might be old enough to remember. I was taught growing up playing basketball, if you reach in, we're going to call a foul.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of that.
They called it on me all the time.
Yeah. So that's what part of it. OKC has gotten away with a lot of those reach ins. And to their credit, sometimes refs, they will make it beneficial for a team because that's who they are. They've seen it so much, they kind of respect it and expect it. But if you reach in the wrong spot, wrong angle, that's a foul. Depending on how much, arm contact, the hand part of the ball, all those things too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It definitely is. They're calling these games a little differently, it seems. It seems like they want to make sure that these teams are really they give you more. They're going back, not all the way back to the bad boys of the late 80s, Detroit Pistons style basketball, but it's getting closer. It's starting to go back in that direction where they're allowing the physicality of the game to take place.
And I love it. I'm good with that, because I'm old school. As I said, I'm a bad boys fan. But when you really look at it, like the final play, the game winning play, Rick Carlisle, kudos to him, salute to him for not calling timeout. Too many coaches call timeout to drop a play, make it easy for the defense and the offense to, get set up. And he trusted his players. The move Haliburton made wasn't something fancy. It was a dribble coming up right side, little fake pull up. That's all it was. He made a clutch shot, and that's what he does. So let's see how well OKC does with their one-on-one defense rather than that help defense coming from the weak side, getting a reach in. That's one thing Julius Randle, he did a poor job in the Minnesota series. He tried to back down players, and he didn't watch film. He did not expect OKC players to come from the help side and steal the ball. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're doing this over and over again, pounding the ball in the post and getting stripped. Come on, man. Learn from that mistake.
Come on.
Exactly. And also, what's your take on the New York Knicks? What do you think is behind the firing of their head coach?
Boy, I've been around the game long enough, and almost nothing surprised me, except Luka being traded to the Lakers for what that was.
Right.
But Thibs being fired, I can understand the Knicks fans being upset, pissed off. I can say that here on this show, right? I can say pissed off.
Yeah.
On this show. Is how it was handled. He got them. He returned them to relevance. He returned them to the playoffs, back-to-back 50-plus wins, got them to the conference final for the first time in years. But some of those same fans complained earlier, Thibs plays too many, doesn't play him enough. He doesn't rest the starters. He plays them too many minutes. He doesn't trust his bench. Well, that's the rationale the Knicks front office said, well, we didn't like how the offense would run, and we didn't think he played the bench enough, so we made a move.
Wow. And so they decided to make the move. But now when you make the move, who do you go get, though? Who do you recommend for the Knicks that will lead them forward?
The Knicks, the rumors now, and salute to Mark Stein and Jake Fisher for being the first to mention this Tuesday, is that the Knicks had interest in Jason Kidd and getting permission from the Mavs to talk to J. Kidd about the job. That's a gutsy move, man. That's a gutsy move to want to hire another team's head coach who was currently employed by that team. I hope the Knicks have somebody else up there.
And he ain't the only one.
Yeah.
Finch was reported too.
It just
as a potential possibility for the Knicks.
So I don't know what Leon Rose is thinking there. You gonna trade him some draft picks, some compensation for this? New York going to New York, I guess.
Oh, Chris, come on. It just when some organizations, you see what they had that longevity, they're able to move, stay consistent, stay good. The Knicks have been overall bad for so long, and they finally started to get good, consistently good over the last 4 years. And you see this move, and I see the logic when it comes to the firing. I see that logic, and for that, I'll take it. However, when they went to go, rumor has it, for Jason Kidd, I was like, what? I was like, just flashing back. I said, back to the old Knicks again, man.
Yeah.
Back to the old Knicks. It's just how. Why
Yeah.
here? And then the thing is, when it comes to Thibs, he is who he is. Matter of fact, come on, let me see.
Is this camera on me?
Yes. It's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
He is who he is. And then when he comes in and does what he does, somehow fans, GM, other staff are just surprised that he's doing the same thing consistently throughout his career. Some people say he's a one-trick pony. Some people would say he would struggle to coach baseball and coach 9 guys all at once. I understand it. But please, the only solution I would think of is say, hey, we made it this far in this relative short period. We just have to tell the guys in the offseason, hey, man, it's time to work. We have to do our suicides, man. We have to start doing that road work or whatever type of cardio the players will have to do just to get that heart rate up, to get that stamina. That's going to be like the only solution to me, but still don't get me started on Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, that's where I was going. That's where I was going because
matter of fact, here we go.
Yeah,
here we go, Chris.
You're gonna have to go.
I need you to come to the front of the congregation and speak.
I got you. Let me see
about Karl Anthony Towns.
Let me stand on my box. Yeah, let me stand on my box. Big fella, defense to him is like a rumor. I mean, he the reports after the fact from one of my colleagues, J.L. Edwards, James L. Edwards III, to cover Detroit before moving to cover the Knicks, said how teammates were not happy with Cat's improvisation on defense, doing things that weren't called and not doing the right calls and all that. That's a problem. But that's not new. Minnesota fans can tell you the same thing. Cat going his own tangent defensively, and that's a problem. Defense, you have to be on a string to be a great defensive team. We do not need somebody going off on their own tangent while the other 4 of us are locked in what we're supposed to be doing. So that's a problem. Cat is talented. We can also wonder why Cat and Jalen Brunson stopped running pick and roll. Because I don't care if Thibs didn't call it. Y'all on the floor. What stopped you from calling it, JB? You can call it. 1-5. 1-5 middle, 1-5 right, 1-5 left. Let's go. Let's run this. It worked for almost the entire season until February when you stopped running it. Basketball is not complicated. If something's working, I'm going to keep doing it until my opponent stops me from it working.
Absolutely.
Period. I'm not going to deviate. Well, I'm kind of tired of running this, even though it works 80% of the time. Let's get the other 20%. Let's keep it working. Let's keep it going. And then the playoffs, when Thibs finally went to his bench, finally, after who knows how long, the guys performed. So maybe if Leon Rose would have told him, come to offseason, look, Thibs, your job is on the line next year, man. You need to play the bench more. Go 9, 10 deep. You do that, you'll keep your job. You don't do that, you're going to be gone by February. Something like that. Give him a few more months to make an adjustment. Eastern Conference Finals, man. I mean, first time in, how long was it? 25 years? And then you fire him? Okay. All right. If y'all fall back to the, other side of the Eastern Conference soon, you can point to this and say, well, we told y'all.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, the next segment of the show is brought to you by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance. Miriam, hey, Auto, Home, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue, 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give our friend Miriam a call, 585-360-0094. If she saved the Rad Man and his crew a hell of a lot of money on their Auto, Home, and Health and Life Insurance, she can save you and your family a hell of a lot of money as well. Get that quote. She's an award winner. It's a reason she's an award winner. So give Miriam Rivera a call, 360-0094.
Hey, Chris, while we still got you, I had to ask. It's been reported that, in each and every year, these major changes are happening. So it's no surprise. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, these huge trade rumors. What's the move that Houston can make that you think can get them over the hump?
of the two, I would prefer the Rockets trade for Giannis. It would probably take up more, but if the Bucks begin the phone call with, okay, Giannis says he wants to go to the Rockets, wants to go to y'all, Rafael Stone, or calls me. And he says, hey, we want Amen Thompson. Click. Nope, you can't have him. You can have Alperen Sengun. You can have Jalen Green. You cannot have Amen Thompson. Period. That's into this conversation right there. Kevin Durant, it sounds like the Suns' asking price is shrinking. But if they were asking for the moon and now sell on to the stars, we'll see how many draft picks they want with the Rockets. Issue with him, if he comes to the Rockets, is he wants a contract extension for another at least 2 years. Well, Rockets got some young players who want to get paid by that time, like Amen Thompson. So if they can't pay KD $40 million plus per year, and then Amen Thompson, and then keep Sengun, all that kind of stuff too. So there'd be a salary cap issue. So Rocket fans and I have talked about that back and forth on my Rocket show on YouTube. Some of them don't want KD, just flat out don't want KD, period. Others want him, but understand that contract extension for an older player who's dealt with injuries lately, they got some questions about that too.
Absolutely. And where do the Timberwolves go? The Minnesota Timberwolves. What's their next move?
Well, Naz Reid and Julius Randle, they got player options on their free agent contracts, so they can return, but they're going to be in a cap issue as well. So Minnesota probably needs to renegotiate longer term contracts with those two players for probably a little less money initially to keep them. But I'm going to be biased and put on my Detroit Pistons hat. Naz Reid, hey, brother, if you want to make a move, you can come to Detroit and win and help lead them back to the promised land. You have a nice role, be a backup big for a while. When Tobias Harris retires, you go to the starting 4 spot. Come on, Nas. Come on, team up with Radman's young brother, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Duren and Kate Cunningham. Come on, man. Let's get it.
And on the other side of that, I'm going to say, hey, West Coast. Nas Reid, if you want to go to Golden State, and if you want to be a starter and run that good pick and roll with the GOAT, Steph Curry, then come on over there, man. You and Draymond and make a heck of a front court.
So, hey, if we can make it happen just by saying it, put it into existence. Let's just do it, man.
Oh, excellent. And before you go, Chris, last but not, what's any news in college on the college level?
Big news last night, Friday night, the news dump, where Judge Wilkin approved the revenue sharing, where now universities can pay the student assets directly, the $20 million initially for this coming season, starting July 1st. But honestly, the schools were already prepared to do that July 1, regardless whether she approved it or not. She finally approved it. The question is going to be the enforcement part of it. How will the clearinghouse enforce when a team collective pays the starting center on the football team $2 million, and the clearinghouse says that's not fair market value? Well, it is, because we paid them that last year. Well, it's not fair market value this year, but we paid them that last year. So how are they going to enforce that? So there will be more lawsuits. We're just getting started.
Now they're saying $20 million. If they're saying that each school could spend $20 million on their team?
Right. Each school, that's the salary cap for year one. It is expected to go up about 3% annually for the next 10 years. So it's a salary cap. But who's going to enforce it if teams decide to go over that cap? How's that going to work?
That's my question. When I've heard the last night, I'm saying, well, how are they going to, like you said, how are they going to keep this in order? How are they going to make sure that the big power schools, the schools with the big money, like the LSUs and them, don't cheat and give this guy $5 million more, give this somebody else on their team? Because that's a lot. And is that per sport, or is that for the whole?
No, that's athletics. $20 million for athletics. And that's from the university. Okay. So the collectives can still pay, well, in their minds, they can pay more on top of the 20.5. So the collectives for some teams, some universities, they believe that they can still use the collective to pay their players.
Oh, wow.
Other folks say, no, it's a 20.5 million is a cap, period. And you can't go outside that. That's why I say there will be lawsuits. This is just getting started.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, this is whoo man. You know what the kids are saying now? Or the kids, these young athletes, these employees.
Tell them to bring me my money.
That's it.
I say please, but I will say a part of me missed some of the old days. I know the NCAA just said, hey, we knew this has been happening for a long time. We're stepping away, and then it became the wild, wild west. Some people getting paid, some people saying they're going to get this money, show up, the money doesn't come on in, and now they're trying to regulate this. I just say, hey, leave it to each individual school's discretion. That's why I kind of wish it would end up being just so when it comes to these students, they're coming out, someone says, hey, I'll give you a 500,000 here. Another school says, hey, we'll give you double. Hey, y'all know where I'm going. Let me get some legal paperwork. Let me get it signed. Make sure everything is good. Versus the old school way, you have the assistant running backs coach come in, drop off the paper bag. Right. I'm like, hey, but like you said there, Chris, they're going to end up figuring it out. But I want to know what the Fanatic thinks when it comes to some of this. Fanatic there, do you have anything to say when it comes to this new news when it comes to players getting paid?
My man Mike Rad with the ones and twos. I like it. Hey, man, what's up? What up, Real Deal Sports Show family? Always good to be with you. Hey, Chris Gardner, the living legend, man, doing his thing, man. Good to see you, my man.
You too, brother.
Hey, this is a long time coming. Judge Claudia Wilkin made that great. I think it's going to be great. But again, this is just, it starts July 1, which is in less than 30 days. So it's going to be a lot of kinks. It's going to be a lot of interpretation. That whatever we see now is going to change as we move forward. But Rad, man, I thought you brought up the astute question is, how do you balance this between the LSUs, the Alabamas, the University of Texas? Shout out to them. I see they won the softball championship. SEC continue to dominate championships in all sports. Come on now, hey. So now, how do you regulate that? The University of Michigan versus the universities like a Buffalo or a Rutgers or places like that. So it's going to be interesting, man, but it's a long time coming. College athletes have been paid. At least now they don't need no brown paper bag to just be anonymously left in lockers.
And one thing interesting, Chris, that I thought was interesting as I follow softball, being an umpire and follow the game. At the beginning of the Texas game number 3, which took place last night, Texas Tech announced before the game that they have re-signed Najee Kennedy, their star pitcher, to $1 million deal. $1 million deal. So it's almost like the NFL. It's almost. I said, wait a minute. They announced that so she got $1 million this season, but now next season they said she just signed a new deal for $1 million.
Bring me my money.
Yeah. The collective, the Raiders collective, wanted to make sure she did not go back into the portal, the transfer portal. So this is another example of the collective for a school paying a player money outside of what the university will be paying players starting on July 1st.
Wow!
So they jumped the gun. Okay.
Yeah.
So some schools feel like their collectives can pay outside of the agreed upon settlement money, $20 million.
Yeah, because now it's almost like, Radman, you know this. I ain't gonna put your finances all out there, man. You've done amazing in your life. You got the athletes now gonna have that dual income. They can get it from the Raising Cane's, the local car dealership, and they can get it directly from the school. It's gonna be really interesting because I think I read last night with her the Texas Tech picture. She's gonna have now 2 7-figure deals that have now come to her. But you're right, Radman. It's really interesting to get that right before the game. It's almost like, this is now professional, but we know it's been professional, especially at a high level, like a Texas and the Texas Tech. And shout out to the University of Houston, too. They need to get their money out. Tell them to put some money out.
Yeah. What's all that money you have in Houston? Come on now. Y'all got to start paying some of your softball talent and get some talent in, because we never heard of Texas Tech until they started paying. In basketball season, they paying the girls, and now they paying in softball.
Brothers.
Patrick Mahomes got on the phone calling people up. We got $1 million for you, girl. Come on down here and play some ball.
Did an article before the Softball World Series. I think every team in the Softball World Series had at least one player from Houston. Houston High School, at least. Whereas Houston Cougar softball has stunk for at least 6-7 years, being irrelevant for longer than that. So they finally fired. Well, no, excuse me. They didn't fire her. They let her contract elapse. So they're not going to renew her and bring her back. So they got a new softball coach.
Mm-hmm.
Got 1 more year left for baseball on his contract. So they're not get rid of him because the school can't afford to buy him out. So he's going to, baseball has been trashed for years. Baseball fans are upset about it. But one thing that baseball manager Todd Whitting has in his corner is he's a good fundraiser. So he can help supplement paying the staff or paying himself. So he's like, hey, I can still raise money. Why you want to fire me? Because we ain't winning, sir. That's why. Right. And brothers, check this out. They had the Big 12 pitcher of the year on the squad. Relief pitcher, first relief pitcher in Big 12 conference history to be named pitcher of the year. And the only reason they did not win, or he did not pitch more, is because they did not have enough leads to get to him to hold the lead. So,
wow! So you couldn't even show him, couldn't you?
So, and I think he pitched in 10 of the Cougars' 12 conference wins. He was locked down. I think he struck out like 110 batters in 63 innings.
Wow, Chris, thank you so much for coming on. Unbelievable. Y'all got to get your finances and things in order over there. Coaches, the whole 9 yards there. Advantage Federal Credit Union, AdvantageAFCU.org. Check them out for auto loans, Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much, much more. Auto loans starting at 4.99%. Hey, y'all, graduation time. Get that hoopty on the road. Check out AdvantageAFCU.org. Get that hoopty on the road, y'all. Thanks, Chris, for coming on the show, coming back on as always with all this knowledge. And we're going to have you back again as we're going to definitely talk about not only the likeness and nil and all of that, but also this settlement that just took place last night. That was
my pleasure, brothers. Always. Y'all take care.
All right.
Good to see you, Chris.
You too.
All right.
The
music.
Hey, Rabbit, just before we got our closing moments, BacSpin coming. Can we just shout out Thomas Bryant? Wait, no, can we shout out Thomas Bryant? What a great Rochester's very own, giving back to the community in the Rock. Thomas Bryant out there doing his thing, hustling and making big shots as they help eliminate the Knicks and then play well again in game one. Shout out Thomas Bryant, been waiting all week to say that, man. Let's go.
Absolutely. And want to thank my brother Moses Robinson, my favorite RPD police officer, retired Moses Robinson. You gave your all. You left it all out in the community. Thank you so much for all the years, 20, 30 years of service with RP, Rochester Police Department. He was at my kids' games. He was at everybody's game, making sure they got home safely and talk nicely to people and very respectful to everybody in the community. He helped us out in our community. Moses Robinson, another person that made Rochester a much better place to live, as well as James Allen, the pastor James Allen, great jazz photographer, just great photographer, excellent person. He will be missed. We dedicate the show to these two beautiful men that made Rochester a much better place to live.
I like it. Hey, and shout out to Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. That's going to be a fun, interesting couple to watch.
Look out.
Oh, Lord.
Watch out.
Hey,
take a
I ain't mad at Stephon Diggs.
Come on now. I
ain't mad at the boy, man. Go on and get it how you live. You know what I'm saying?
Let him live.
Hey, he need to watch out with using that Diddy drug, though. You know what I'm saying? That's what that pink stuff was. That was that ketamine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that pink cocaine he was giving them girls right there.
I know, man. Oh, come on.
Allegedly.
I seen it. Can't be alleged. You seen it. I seen it.
That's right. It was on video. That's right.
You seen that man pull it out his pocket. It's like a kid in candy store. You want some
it was.
And what do you say? Don't all use it at one time or something like that?
I was saying that was the best part. He gave a nice disclaimer. He like, hey, use this wisely now. Hold on.
He he getting ready for the freak offs.
Yeah,
I mean, that's that freak off drug, right?
Yeah. That's a wild. Hey, and I missed it. Hey, I hope we all still watching out. No Caitlin Clark tonight, but Indiana versus Angel Reese. I love what the WNBA tried to do is light a little with sports. They tried to have that be the 7 p.m. main time Saturday night game. Angel Reese gonna go out there and do her thing. Yo, people stop hating on my girl, man. The Bayou Barbie. She get it how she get it. The jump shot is improved. She working on her game. She ain't out there just bricking on purpose to go collect offensive rebound, to brick again, to go make a layup, man. Y'all, the internet's undefeated. Y'all wild with that. Angel Reese wins some money. Double definitely going down tonight.
I like Angel Reese, man. I like that. I like that comment.
She get a lot of criticism, man.
Yeah, she does. I just her attitude, the way she plays the game, the way, she's unapologetically herself.
Yeah.
I think, it's new in the WNBA. And, I think she's like when Allen came into the league, you know what I mean? How, the tattoos and doing his own thing, not marching to the NBA's drum. I think that's how Angel Reese is with the WNBA. And, kudos to her, man.
Yeah.
Good point, BacSpin. That's a good point. That is a good
very interesting take there. Very interesting take.
It's time for us to go, fellas. I appreciate y'all, man. The Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. We're going to chop it up with y'all again next week. Y'all guys have a great weekend, brothers.
No doubt.
All right, take care. Pancake breakfast on my way. Square Fair. Come on out.
And be a good sport. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Keep
Real
it where
Deal
you
Sports
need
Show.
it. Rock City, y'all know the vibes. We ought to be 105.5. The Back in Time. Make sure it's on the way right here on the Beat.